All right, Terry, thanks for jumping on and joining me just for this quick little chat. We've obviously just jumped off a call together, and you've been in my mastermind for 12 months now, and the Egon Blueprint even before that for a few months, which is amazing. And you've made some unbelievable progress. And so the purpose of this chat is obviously to talk through what that looked like and the challenges, of course, along the way, and obviously talking about the wins and the strategies that you and I had adopted together and how we worked together. But to kick off, I'd love to just hear a bit about where things were with yourself and the business, the brick and mortar business and the online business before you came into my world, before you joined the Ecom Blueprint. Where were things at with the business?
Oh, okay. So we physical store we bought the business not quite 8 years ago. And in that time we've made lots of changes, and every year we have increased turnover year on year. And it wasn't till around 2020 when COVID hit, it really hit our industry really hard, as you can imagine. Costumes don't, no one was allowed to have parties or anything, no events, no nothing. So we literally went to, I think we lost 97% of our
Mm,
turnover. We made 3% turnover in March when it all hit compared to the year before.
mm,
So we started looking at online, and I just went, yep, got to get the online website going. We've just got to start focusing on it. So it has taken about 5 years. Every year it's grown. Every year it's got better. Every year I've learned a lot. But around 2021, we started paying agencies to do ads, Google ads for us, for the shop and for online sales. And we found they didn't listen. They didn't, we were paying thousands of dollars for their services.
mm,
Um, they just headlines of the ads were ridiculous. Like, they didn't care what was written in them. They didn't care what the assets were that they were putting up. And even after we would tell them this needs to change, and why is that headline saying that? We don't even do that. Like, it was so bad, and we we're paying thousands. It's just ridiculous. So then we did get to one agency who were really good, and I got along with them extremely well. And actually, funnily enough, it was a business of women, and they listened, which we hadn't had before. And no offense to any men listening, but previous to that, it was all men in IT who all thought, I hadn't um, because I didn't know all the intricacies of ads online, they basically talked to me like I didn't know anything.
mm,
And so there's a lot of mansplaining and um, that experienced as well, to the
mm.
point that my husband even read some emails and said, hey, that guy's shirt fronting you. Even my husband could tell that how they talked to him compared to how they talked to me was different.
Mm,
So all of it was very frustrating.
mm,
And then, so then I found this really good agency, and they were great. However, as a business, obviously, they need to make money too. So every time our ad spend went up, our agency fees went up.
mm,
And so even though we were starting to make more profit, all of that profit was paying the agency. And so we were still breaking even or making minimal amount at the end. So I was getting really frustrated. So then I started looking around for how can I learn how to do all this myself? But obviously, I need help. Who's going to teach me? And that's I came across one other company, and I tried them for a little while, and they weren't bad, but they weren't great either.
mm,
Um, and it's and then I came across your company, and I was in the other thing. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the first program was called.
yeah.
And then you started offering one-on-ones, and I knew that's what I needed. I'm not the, unfortunately, I do lots of hours, and I get really focused on what I'm doing, and sometimes things get left behind. And even in the other program, because I didn't have someone nudging me going, hey, you haven't checked in, what's going on? Have you done this yet? Have you done that yet? Because I didn't have that in the other program, it just didn't really work for me personally. I know it's great for lots of other people, but I really needed the one-on-one mentoring. And oh my God, how good has it been? I'm so
Mm.
much more confident now. And Will does not mansplain anyone. So if you're a woman looking for that and you've experienced that, that's, that it's a big thing in our world now. I know it gets talked about a lot online, and a lot of people think it's in our heads, but I promise you it's not.
Mm.
Uh, and Will is nothing like that. I feel like we get along really well. And now I have confidence because you've taught me how to look at the numbers, how to figure it out. And now I actually know exactly how much money I've spent, how much money we're keeping for ourselves. And I could never figure that out before because it was too hard. It all seemed overwhelming and too hard.
Mm.
And what you did was make it simple, easy. At first, yes, it's a little bit harder because you haven't done it before and you're not in a rhythm of it. But now, oh, you'd be so proud, Will, on the up.
I am absolutely proud of you, and thanks for sharing that background. That's the truth. I mean, that's you hadn't told me that before, actually, and obviously not being a woman myself, I can't relate as such to that. And I can only obviously control how I personally act and the people that I direct act, and it's just really good to hear that because it's just so important. I mean, we're all human beings for a start, but the shoe on the other foot, I admire just how much you are able to handle, how much you're capable of running multiple facets of the business, like the brick and mortar and online, in my mind and my experience are two completely different models. I couldn't personally handle that, right? And I haven't, that's why we only focus on the online side. So you've been incredibly proficient at everything and pick things up so quickly. And then, as you mentioned before, just building the confidence through really time, compressing that time and being
Yeah,
able to obviously monitor and manage together and being able to upskill. And now we're just having simple conversations or messages here and there being like, what's the cost per acquisition? It's like, I know almost without even saying what's good and what's
yeah,
bad and what's acceptable, what's not, which is such an empowering place to be in. And we don't have to get bogged down into the real nitty gritty technical stuff, things that do go over your head because you're running so many, aspects of the business. So that's totally on you in terms of the action that you've taken. I'd say this far, the responsibility that you've taken upon yourself. Okay, because a lot of business owners like to play the victim. They like to blame the agencies. They like to do this that takes the power away from them. Whereas you're like,
yeah.
no, no, no. This is my business. If I want this to work, if I want this to work for my family and my future and my retirement, I must take that responsibility. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. And so that is in and of itself a massive, inspiration really to people and an incredible inspiration to me. And that's why I think, well, one of the reasons why it's been so successful for you. I mean, 50%, 67, 70% growth, like having 128K month versus last year was like 60, 70. And then improving the way that you have so consistently has been just incredible to watch. And as I say, nothing has made me more happy and proud than seeing that, and seeing you grow as a person and a business. Like it's insane the opportunities we're talking about now and the future that we can see, which is incredible. And that, as I said, responsibility, level of control, knowing the top level, what's important, numbers and levers is the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the perfect business or perfect person that is the one that succeeds. It's the scrappy action, the imperfect action, but action nonetheless that you have done and that I observe typically about the people who move, the fastest and most successfully. So it's been incredible to see.
Well,
Um, mm,
as well, it's all that the stuff that felt really overwhelming, like all of the ads, like all of the emails. I'd never done all that before. And now I go in there and go, oh my God, that thing has like 40 different emails and they've got all these different things. And I did that. I'm proud of me for that.
Yeah.
And also on the first of every month, I send all of the suppliers that we drop ship through. Please send me my shipping costs for the month, please. I just need the freight costs so that I can work out what my cost of shipping
Yeah.
was. I never did that before. I
Mm.
was probably, oh, they won't do that for me. But now I don't care. I go, well, I'm their customer. They need to give to me what I need. And on the first of the month, they all know now, all for the 12 months, they get this email from me and I go, if I haven't got it back from them within a day or two, I send another one. I go, well, I need to work out my figures.
Yeah.
Send me my cost.
I love
Like,
that. Yeah, yeah. And again, just that firstly, the awareness of what you need to know to feel in charge, and then being able to have the confidence to go and do so. Because there is absolutely nothing wrong with, of course, doing that. But a lot
yeah,
about business that I've observed is just knowing the rules, and typically there are no rules. It's just, in my opinion and experience, is like just be a decent human being, always do right by people, of course, and give them the benefit of the doubt. But knowing what you're, I guess, able to ask for or do is all part of it. And if it obviously helps you do a better and keep improving, of course. So yeah, it's been obviously incredible seeing your progress, and I know there's so much more to come. We're talking about the future, which is
yeah.
fantastic. Um, for anyone that's, I guess, in the position that you were in, whether it was the brick and mortar or just the online and trying to just kind of crack through with the frustration you kind of mentioned, maybe it's through agencies or even programs or whatever, even just doing it on their own sort of thing. Is there anything you'd sort of say to those people specifically about how to get to that next level, like what you should actually do next that you did or you have realized, going through what you've been through?
I don't know. I guess you have to be really honest with yourself about what you need. And I think that was probably the first conversation that we had when you offered the mentorship. For me, I was like, yep, this other program isn't working for me because no one's saying, hey, no one's pushing me. And that's something that I've learned being in business with my husband as well. He has to push me a lot sometimes to take a risk to get something done. So I knew that was part of my personality, is that if I've got someone saying, hey, have you done this yet? And I go, oh shit, no, I haven't. All right, I better get that done. Just that alone, that was what was important to me. So, and the confidence. So your encouragement, you're teaching me how to look at the numbers so that I know when I started scaling those ads up, I never thought I'd be spending over 20 grand a month Google ads. Like, and now I look at it and go, all right, how much more can I scale? How much more can we spend? Whereas before I was like, oh, that's really scary.
Yeah.
Even though in our industry, some people are pulling some massive numbers in our industry, 10 times what I'm doing, but I still was too scared. And previously, I think we had put um, ad spend up and we'd lost money because we didn't do it the right way.
Mm.
Whereas you taught me how to do it the right way and how to scale. And so that's been the biggest thing. So now all I'm focused on is scaling. How can we scale? How can we push it up? How can I oh, let's spend 50 grand a month in ads? Because if now I know I can look at the numbers and go, yep, we're making money out of that. We're not losing it. It's not going. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this
Yeah.
year going to be huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited.
It's been incredible, Terry. Yeah, we know we've got the roadmap there laid out that it is a lot simpler than what people make it out to be. And I always say that basically the simplicity scales, the complexity fails, because if you're complicating things on that small level, small scale, say even under 10, 20K a month in revenues, it's like, well, what do you think is going to happen when you get to the 50s, 70s, hundreds beyond that?
Yeah,
Like things only get more complex. And so what you've got and the clarity and simplicity that you've got with the strategy that we're obviously adopting is everything to get you to that next level. And the next year is going to be insane. So thank you so much for sharing that. And obviously, congratulations. It's a great point to acknowledge, your progress. And I'm super, super proud of you. Like it's just been awesome. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's
thank you.
been great. Amazing, Terry.